Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this freaking cop, dude.
Oh, he's scared, dude.
9-point turn.
9-point turn, his buddy's dead. Why did he have to drive 12 feet to go check on his buddy?
Liberal, they have liberal friends,
All right,
and
pause
then
it.
they go online and they are a white supremacist.
It lines this one up. Okay, so this one's like 4 minutes long. Have you guys seen or heard about this?
No.
No.
All right, this lady, I believe, is a professional that's explaining the manosphere and how the new alt-right for men is the problem with this nation, and they're going to get to it, and they're going to tell us what's wrong. That's all I got.
Papasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're
Far-right
the
men.
most insecure men I've ever sat down with.
And
It was
she's
really
from,
difficult to have some of these
she's
dates
Greek,
because
so
they were so insecure
take
because
that as you
they
will.
don't really
Is your
know
mouse
who
on
they
the
are, and
video
they
screen?
don't know how to figure that out.
Nope.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called manosphere.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent media, and they're only listening to men talking to men.
The manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of like money.
Females don't have independent thought.
It's a space where UFC fighters are among those who reign supreme.
They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're modern gladiators. They're badass.
Badass like Jake Shields, a former UFC
So she's kinda
star
into
turned
it.
podcaster.
All right. Now I'm starting to feel nervous. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Who I met at an MMA gym in Las Vegas.
Like all great MMA pros.
Jake Shields is like, I smell.
That is, like this guy.
Yeah.
I've never hit anyone in my life.
I'm not punching back. Hit me.
I love that CNN brought this guy to do this story, dude.
This is CNN.
If that journalist was smart, he would just keep
Being
him on his
full-time
feet.
pro, like in terms of
of course I miss it.
Once
To
he goes
go
down,
from
that's
professional
over.
athlete,
But
which
if
is
he
the
keeps him on his
highest of
feet, he's got a
highs,
chance.
to retirement.
And I
You
guess
have to find- the podcast has helped. You could fall into depression if you just go from the most amazing career where you're famous and spotlights to all of a sudden you're a nobody.
Sure.
Like other podcasters in the manosphere, Jake regularly hosts controversial guests.
And I named the podcast Fighting Back. I feel like we have to fight back what we're told we're allowed to do. I just don't like to be told you're not allowed to talk to this person. Like, why can't I talk to him? I'm not saying I agree with his ideology, but I should hear what he has to say.
He's hosted the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Today I have a very, very special guest, Dr. David Duke. I knew you're controversial, but I had no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo, the leader
He
of the
sounds
white
like Tito,
supremacist
dude.
group Patriot Front.
Like if you closed your eyes, you would think he was Tito.
Let's go where we disagree.
I thought
about
it
this.
was.
Let's hit race, because you're a white-only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe, so they're white.
The true heirs of the American
Could have saved some words and just said yes.
You know, I understand and talk to these guys, but I've also.
I know, he
thought,
explained it, but only made it
if I
worse.
do, I'm going to be really, really on top of them.
But so you saying that you haven't brought someone hateful on, right?
On.
People say, well, you brought on a Grand Wizard of the KKK, you brought on Patriot Front.
Yeah.
They're hateful.
No, I think those are excellent questions, but if people go and watch the actual interviews, I think they would be like, oh, this guy's not near as hateful as if I expected.
But Vera says hate isn't what the men she dated were really looking for.
One of these guys.
For posterity, has Jake Shields ever had like a First Nations guest on, dude?
I doubt it.
To talk about
I don't
like,
know. I've never seen his show.
He's got a guy that's like all Americans, and I believe all Americans come from Europe. But the First Nations guy would probably have like, you know, a differing opinion on that. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
It would be pretty sweet if they invited natives in to join with them.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Guys brought me to a political meeting.
And did they talk about politics?
Barely. They talked about, it was a bunch of men
You have to say
complaining about girlfriends and wives. regurgitating Andrew Tate
Sounds like the
type
Moose
of
Lodge.
advice
Yeah,
about
dude, sounds
how
like
to train
sounds like the Blue Man
your
Group, to be
girlfriend, how to
fair.
train your wife to be submissive.
Not anymore.
And so this group was supposed to be a political group, but they're talking about relationship problems.
R.I.P. Blue Men.
And the fact that that's what most of the time was spent on, you don't need to be a neo-Nazi. You need therapy.
The appeal of Jake's podcast speaks to a need among young men in this country that Vera says can't be ignored.
You have to incentivize someone to want to be better. You can't just...
See, the problem with this, sorry to stop it again, the problem with this
No,
is like,
thank you.
from the way I see it, you're conflating two wildly different things into one segment. Where it's like a grand wizard of the KKK and dudes that want to go complain. That's every bar, saloon, Elks Lodge from the beginning of time. And like, to say that like, oh, these guys idolize MMA fighters, as if like, again, that's not been something like even before there was organized sports. Like, go back to Abraham Lincoln and they would wrestle each other outside the taverns and people would put money like, so like, this is like such a CNN interview.
100%.
Like, this is why people hate CNN, dude.
And
they're not making a real point
at all. And they specify this podcast that I've never heard of, you guys have never listened to. Has he only had 2 episodes? Because they've only highlighted 2 problematic episodes. What else does he talk about?
So. I think he talks to fighters because I've seen
Does he?
little blips from it.
Yeah, I've never heard of
I
it
think
till
he
this.
He talks to fighters.
Like he
And,
tweets.
like,
He's big on Twitter.
Yeah, and I think he's like, I don't think he's like a vegan and stuff. I think, like he's not exactly like Mr. Conservative guy.
Yeah, he's not. He's not,
You know?
dude. He's like
so it's like a funny way to pay. At least from my memory, like none of those guys from the Scrap Pack, were, you know.
Also, like, if you check out what's going on with BJ Penn right now, like, maybe like featuring a guy that got hit in his head his whole life or like a majority of his life, and is now retired from that. Maybe that's not like the best person to use as an example. I don't know. Just
I imagine he's the only one that said yes to a CNN interview. And then one more point, she's complaining that these guys are meeting together and they're far right, but they're not talking about politics. Instead, they're talking about like issues that they can't voice at home. Is that big of a problem? Like, don't women do the same thing?
Yeah.
It is a problem because men are talking about their feelings and they should.
Isn't that what they want us to do?
And keep moving, dude. You know.
Also, I wonder how all those other guys felt that this dude brought his girlfriend to the man's only meeting.
Oh, dude, he probably is not a part of those men's only meetings anymore.
No.
Ted is out.
Guys, look, we need to hold an emergency meeting. What the fuck did Ted do last week where he brought his Grecian girlfriend in here? Whoa. Don't bring nationality into it. Sorry, I'm sorry. You've seen her last name, right?
Yeah, and like it's not like he doesn't bring the best snacks, but
yeah, I mean,
can't
overstep a line, dude.
Right.
The Rice
Say, let's
Krispies are
make
good
men
though.
better. The thing about these guys is their biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating.
That's everybody.
That's every single person, dude.
Breeds hatred.
Groups like Patriot Front offer community, but community based on racism and hate.
Pause it.
People have to really think about, do you have the capacity?
We
to
interviewed the Patriot Front, and it turns out they just complain about their wives and girlfriends the whole time. It's like, what?
And
that's all I
like, also they're, I don't know. Like as soon
They're
as you say
feds, dude.
Like as soon as you say something like it's a Americans only group, and you know, as you know, only Europeans can be American.
Right.
It's like
the most convoluted thing you could actually say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, after somebody says it to me, I'm like, oh, cool. Now everything you say after this doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because
You're
you're
painted
stupid.
with the brush that you think,
Yeah, you're
that
stupid.
You're a buffoon.
You dip that brush in bullshit, and you started painting from the start.
They should have interviewed me for this, because I'd have been like, me and my friends get together and watch Tito videos. I don't really know.
We're the
don't really
biggest
talk
Farrah
politics.
Abraham fans out there.
Did you guys know that Farrah Abraham shits in jars?
Sean has 15 jars.
Did you guys know that? Yeah. Well, I have a video. Hold on. Let me get Discord up. I have a link for you.
If only they knew that the
Because
manosphere
that
was
one-
fueled by Little Women LA.
TLC, dude.
TLC is the best, dude.
Because the nice conversation you might have might change someone's day enough to not have to seek out help in an online support group, which is actually a bunch of white supremacists using political beliefs as an excuse for how they feel.
All right, pause it.
Are you okay? Sir.
Bro, you need to stay out of my police body cam lane.
Have you seen this one?
No.
Oh, this one. This is me that one time that I went to Santa Ana to get a dab rip, and the lady gave me way too much. This is Jeanette showing up at my car to check and see if I'm okay.
Dude, what a like when I think
wild
back
times.
on the earth, what was that like? Not that I participated or any of us participated in that, but we had friends.
I heard about those things.
Yeah.
Well, it's a character piece.
My friends used to tell me about like you would go and like spend money at a dispensary, and then they would give you a rip from a dab, which is like, how would you break that down? That's like concentrated THC, right?
Right.
Like that's basically what it is.
That's what I've heard.
There's some like chemical process where it becomes like a different thing.
They
and then that
they
different thing
extract
is,
it.
like concentrated to the point where it's like 90%.
Yeah, it's hard drugs.
5% THC.
Don't they
And so
extract it with kerosene?
It depends on the thing.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of different ways that they extract it. Like some are better than others. But
Okay.
back then, I'm sure it was the worst way.
Oh yeah, it was just motor fluid.
exhaust
That's what I heard.
fumes. They used like somebody's tailpipe, dude, and just like
Yeah.
scraped it off.
Right.
But like they would give it to you. You would pay for your this is what I hear. But you would pay for your schmeckles, dude, and then you would go to this table where some dude was like, he himself had been hitting the dab.
Oh, all day.
And depending on like the measurement of how much they were giving you was to the discretion of the guy doing it. So they would give you a heaping spoonful, and then you would take a rip out of a bong, full rip, and then they'd want you to go. And then your next stop was walking out to your car to drive to wherever you were going.
It was part of the exit.
I'm glad I never did it.
Yeah, I'm glad I never did. I'm glad I didn't ever partake in the sticky ick, dude, because it's just it's just a bunch of trap fails, dude.
Yeah.
That's not a word, but
So I've heard.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, Dad.
Okay, so what's your name?
Jack.
Jack?
Yes,
How you
sir.
doing?
Good.
Do you feel okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know where you are right now?
Oh, how many mirrors?
What's that?
East Coast Drive.
Okay, that's not where you are. Do you have any medical issues? Can I call you an ambulance?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't have any ambulatory assistance.
What's your name, Jack?
Jack.
Jack,
Yes,
will you
sir.
do me a favor? Can you hand me your keys from your car?
Bro, are you sure
Please, I want to
this
make sure
dude
your car
doesn't have
doesn't go
like
anywhere.
You want me to pull out somewhere else?
Nope. I just want you to
Like,
hand me the keys right now. I want to make
situation
sure
he
your car
was
doesn't
like-
go
Yeah,
anywhere.
pause it.
I
given
want to
at
make sure
birth.
that you're feeling
I
all right.
I watched this a few times.
I feel like. Have you ever watched the people who do like, or like, I'm going to do salvia and plant
Yeah,
a tomato plant. I'm going to go to get that, and they don't leave the driveway. I feel like this guy who left the driveway, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
I feel like he made it all the way to East Coast Street. Wherever he thinks he is.
The best salvia video I've ever seen is a couple. It's in a two-story house, dude, and they both rip at the same time, and it's like a cutesy, like we're doing salvia together.
Yeah.
They both
So cute.
rip, dude, and it ends with the guy jumping through the window, out the second-story window, and then like for another 5 minutes, you watch this woman just trip balls, seeing her husband jump out a plate glass window off the second-story ledge, and then she's like the like part of her brain that's rationalizing what's going on is like, she's
Yeah.
trying to react, dude. and she
She's
can't
trying
do
to
it.
pull herself out of the hole, dude.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. It does remind me of that, but it also, I don't know, the way I don't know.
It almost seems like he had a stroke, which is what I
Yeah.
thought at first. Yeah.
It seems like, but what were you saying, Vince? You watched it and you came to the conclusion that it is a substance or something?
Oh, there's a 15-foot bong behind him.
Oh
No, I'm just kidding. I actually don't know. I don't know. I imagine the dab. I imagine he hit a huge ass dab and started a
Dabs
YouTube
are
video.
cross-eyed.
Yeah, does a dab make you go cross-eyed and start saying, "Yes, Eric, sir, is my name"?
If
Yeah.
the dab tender really hates you, yeah.
Yeah.
True. If you use like a freaking a tablespoon.
Dude.
Thank you. I'm just going to put them up here because I don't want your car to go anywhere, okay? Do you have any identification on you? Any ID or anything?
He's pleasant.
I do.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't have a choice. Is that a Budweiser?
Have you been drinking any
I think those are
today?
the Victoria.
No worse.
What's that?
No worse.
Oh, pause it. So that's the end of the video. So there is no like.
How anticlimactic.
Yeah, I know, but his eyes were enough.
No, like I wanted to know, like, did he make it to the Del Taco drive-through? Dude?
I don't think he made it, dude.
I think he was actually holding up the line. He made it through already.
Yeah, dude.
He's like, and he just got stuck. Did they give me sauce? And then he just paused for 20 minutes.
He's like, you know what? I got 15 minutes on that edible, dude. I'm good to go back for sauce. And then boom, dude. You ever play? Not you guys, but have you ever heard of somebody that ever played beat the clock with an edible, dude? And then you hit traffic.
I think I know a guy that used to do that.
Yeah, I know a guy that used to happen to a lot.
Yeah.
Taught me a lot about
Me to
myself.
hang on to the airplane while you read this. All right. I'm a repossession agent, repossessing this aircraft on behalf of my client. You go read that. You go look behind it. You're going to find the security agreement, the default notices that have been unanswered, all the necessary paperwork. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Dude, you're unemployed.
Kevin has now legally repossessed the plane, but if the pilot doesn't cooperate, things could get ugly fast.
He's all.
We can go back over there and confront your boss. Or me and her, we're on our way to Sun and Fun. I'll pay you to fly us down there.
So will you pay me for the cost of the repossession?
If you want. Wow.
Might as well take the money.
Got a deal?
Got a deal.
All right.
Way to be a team player, Scott.
All right,
Oh,
Scott.
God.
Oh,
damn.
dude. Hold on.
Dude,
Scott's
throw her out.
Scott's a fucking pussy, dude.
So wait, you're telling me that the best way to repossess a plane is to wait until you're up in the sky and could potentially die if this person has like an irrational reaction to that? That's
Like
the best. Like that's the
I mean,
plan.
it kind of
like,
is, dude.
I'm gonna go up, and if he gets mad, I'm just gonna tell him I'll pay you for the trip. You know, no problem.
Well, Beth for sure has a gun behind that guy's seat. She's ready to shoot.
What would that solve though?
She's gonna kill him.
Flying the plane, dude.
No, it's the guy on the left has full control.
Oh, this is stupid.
I thought this was so badass, dude.
This feels so forced and like fake.
It's so badass.
I don't know. Like you catch this guy at a Denny's, dude, and then like if this is real, if I'm that guy, I'm going no, I'm not taking you there. And for the rest of the plane ride, I'm just like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
Sure, you repossessed me. You're better than me. You have more money. You can judge me for being unemployed, but you're a rat bastard for doing it this way.
Well,
I would just rip into this guy, dude.
The guy in the plane, he doesn't own the plane. He works for the guy's company.
Oh, and that's why he says you're unemployed.
Yeah.
I thought he was like clowning and be like, "You're unemployed.
Oh,
How
no.
can you afford it? You should have known better before you went up in this airplane." Oh, I'd rip on his mustache, dude. I'd go after everything. I'd be like, "Your mom probably, your great grandparents probably borrowed money during the Depression." And I don't even like. It wouldn't even be like make sense. But I would just.
It doesn't need to make sense.
I would just pull everything I could. Like your mom.
Yeah.
Like I saw an episode of Unsolved Mysteries about whores, and your mom was on it.
Shit.
I'm not taking you.
Unsolved horrors?
Unsolved mystery.
Yeah, they solved it by the end. She was a whore.
She was a whore.
It was, they knew.
Well, plans have changed.
This is fake, dude.
It's fake.
Yeah, sorry about that there, Mr. Donnie, but I am an agent of your finance company, and we have repossessed your airplane.
You didn't pay your bills, Donnie?
Oh,
Good.
Yep. Ooh.
Oh,
He's all right, dude.
dead, dude.
Bear mace.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, dude, what if?
Pause it. Okay. Sunshine Coast. So this video is making its way through the internet this week, and it is incredible. Have you guys seen this woman yet?
No.
Okay, so this is fresh to you guys. All right, we're good to go.
Two sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin.
Can you turn it up a little bit, Eli?
To find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he
repossessed the plane.
And he goes, run! He's got a gun. And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?" Because he had all blood all over his face, and he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran
into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
We'll see.
Do you guys talk like this all the time? Like,
yeah,
everyone?
dude.
Like, is this? Are you at a grocery store doing this? And
they sound like they need their mics adjusted.
Dude, I'm so badly want one of them to go. You just screwed that lineup. We were up all night rehearsing this, and it's our mom.
Sally,
okay,
I've had enough.
We're done. This is the last tandem crisis actor job we're doing together.
They're connected for sure, right?
When you driveway, you don't think of.
This is really similar to what it's like watching a VHS on an HD TV. This is a perfect articulation of that experience.
Yeah.
You need a new adapter.
No. Kind of seeing double, tracking's off. Dude.
I love the unfazed guy in the hoodie, dude.
So glad I don't have a Grand Pyrenees. This nice walk wouldn't be possible.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant. Fauci.
Oh.
Yes? Promise us, please. We'll have a cure that can fight off this disease. Restrictions will lift with some ease. Dr. Fauci, don't forget me.
And that man died of dehydration after all the poontang he got after this press conference.
I thought that was a fitting way to end the video because this week they just announced that it came from a lab, dude.
They had to buck back a bit, dude.
Can we rebrand to buck back a bit?
Bang my name, dude.
Bang my name, buck back a bit.